We got a little hum. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out so far. I'd like to call the meeting to order.
Ms. Cantillo? Mr. Barton?
Here.
Ms. McCullough?
Here.
Ms. Walrath? Ms. Gagliardi?
Here.
Ms. Hafner? Here. Mr. Lamella?
Here.
I can't hear you, Jim.
Jim's off.
Hello? Hello? There we go.
All right.
Take two. The New Jersey Open Public Meeting Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of this act, the Brick Township Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be posted on the Administration Office Bulletin Board, the official district website, and Channel BTV 20, and sent to the Asbury Park Press, the Brick Times, the Star Ledger, and Municipal Clerk's Office.
I need a motion and a second.
Motion. Oh, second.
Daisy's the first, Melita's the second.
Whereas the Brick Township Board of Education has been formed pursuant to applicable New Jersey statutes, whereas the board is charged with the responsibility of performing all acts and doing all things consistent with the law and the rules of the State Board of Education necessary for the lawful and proper conduct, equipment, and maintenance of the public schools and public school property of the Brick Township School District. And whereas Section 7 of the Open Public Meeting Act permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting of the board in certain circumstances, and whereas the board has determined that circumstances exist for such an executive session, and whereas the board has found the action described below to be necessary and proper, now therefore be it resolved by the board on September 14th, 2017, that the public shall be excluded from the discussion of and action on the executive session herein set forth. The session will be approximately 15 minutes, and the general nature of the subject matter to be discussed is Employment Matter 8991. It is anticipated at this time that the above stated subject matter will be made public if and when it is deemed to be in the public interest to do so, and the need for confidentiality is no longer required by the board.
Thank you.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. McCullough?
Yes.
Ms. Gagliardi?
Yes.
Ms. Hafner?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
I see his wife.
Oh, well then.
Oh, he must be in the park. He must be outside.
You want to wait a minute while everybody gets out?
Huh?
There's probably 40 or 50 people outside. Do you want to wait a minute for them all to come in?
Maybe just
Want to ask them?
ask them to come in.
If we know that there's people out in the hallway trying to come in, let's get everybody inside so we can get started, but if we could start to filter in, please.
Like we said, just his family will fill up one side of the
Well, I went
auditorium.
out to the bathroom, Patrick was around there, but his mom was quite close, I think, before him. David, they just sent me a picture of David in his uniform.
Yep.
Then I saw, I'm like, oh my God, these are all my, you know.
All your guys.
Coach Oriemi, so he was just park on the side of the field with his wife and just watched the practice.
Yes, sir.
He didn't really get involved.
Absolutely. All right.
Mr. Katon got up, somebody
Come on. It's not hard to come in and sit down, guys.
Joe? Do that or you got a lot younger all of a sudden.
After I read the proclamation, I'll ask Pete to come up. He evidently has something for him, too.
Beautiful. I'll take it.
I think I heard him say something about he had to go out into the hallway and eavesdrop on the conversation so he could report it out to the district.
That would be.
You couldn't overhear people well enough where you were sitting and move.
When I get
We'll
to
give it right
finance,
to him.
when I go to finance.
Interested?
Where do I go tonight?
She asked, no.
He said, well,
Okay.
schools are going to be fed tell me what to do. Tell you what they're going to do.
Yeah.
No. I'm like, let me go for you.
So maybe they just come late.
I email them.
Yeah. Contact them, we'll come see you.
Yeah. There's nothing on it.
Do you think I'm within my purview to bang the gavel here? Or
Yeah.
try it again. Okay, everybody, thank you very much. We really appreciate your time and patience as we filter in. A little bit larger crowd than I'm used to tonight, so I hope I don't disappoint. Coach, I'm going to do my best. That said, I need a motion and a second to return to public.
Motion.
Stephanie's the first,
Second.
Daisy's the second. Mary?
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Pacala?
Yes.
Ms. Walrab?
Yes.
Ms. Gagliardi?
Yes.
Ms. Hafner?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes. I'd like everyone to stand for the salute. Our color guard is here tonight, and after for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Center, face. Breathe in, hum.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Remain standing until they exit the room.
Fork, hum. Left, haste. Forward, hum.
Thank you. Please be seated. Awesome.
You're going to read, you can do the first part, and then I'll do the second.
I'm just giving them a certificate. Ready?
I'm ready.
You go, right? Mr. Philippone will introduce the presentations for tonight.
The first presentation is one that is very special to me because, believe it or not, as a young guy, the person that we're honoring tonight, Coach Auriemma, was my coach. And I've been here a long time, so that tells you a little bit about his tenure. And as I look out in the audience and I see many of the young guys, the current players that are over here, but teachers, mayors, superintendents, that all can attribute a great deal of who they are, what they are, and what they stand for to the teachings and the work of Coach Auriemma. So we have a couple of presentations for him. We're going to come up and, Coach, you just stay there and we'll call you up when we need you, okay? All right.
Well, Coach, let the guy talk first who's lucky enough to be board president the year you retire, who probably has to do the lightest lifting because I only know of you and your extended family and your grandchildren. So that said, I did a little research and found some things, but I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Philippone, and I understand, Coach Panuska, you have something as well. Tonight we're here to honor Coach Robert Auriemma for his dedication and commitment to the students and athletes of Brick Township High School. In 1962, Coach Auriemma moved with his growing family to Brick, which today includes 5 children, 19 grandchildren, and 14 great-grandchildren, and 2 more on the way to our small shore town. He immediately became involved in our community. He volunteered for various sports at the high school and rec level. He was a defensive football coach from 1962 to 1980, an assistant baseball coach in 1963. In 1962, he was the assistant high school club hockey coach under Warren Wolf. In 1964, he took over as head coach. He would go on to cultivate a dynamic and effective ice hockey program that would become a varsity level sport and a team to fear in New Jersey and the Jersey Shore. Since that time, Coach Oriama has acquired a mere 729 wins, making him the winningest ice hockey coach in New Jersey and third winningest coach in the country. Coach Oriama has been deservingly recognized for his accomplishments many times over. He was named the 1984 Star Ledger Coach of the Year. He was inducted into the Brick Township High School Wall of Fame, Jersey Shore Hall of Fame, New Jersey High School Ice Hockey Hall of Fame. He's a recipient of the New Jersey Devils John J. McMullen Award, and most recently, the 2017 Devils and Asbury Park Press Community Commitment Award. And yet, he will be honored by the Mayor of Brick Township at the council meeting on September 26th. That's at 7 p.m. Coach Oriama has always dedicated himself to helping the school as well as his community. He has made all children, and more importantly, the children of Brick, his priority. He has not only instilled the love of sports to his athletes, but he also taught them life's lessons that would guide them throughout their lives. He has been an educator, a coach, and mentor, and I'm glad to call him a brief friend. On behalf of the Board of Education, staff, athletes, and community, we thank you for your many years of service. I can never talk about anybody I know. It's horrible. Now you know what I was like at varsity banquets. Coach, we are grateful and appreciative for all the years you've given us, for your service and devotion to students, athletes, and the community of Brick Township. We are truly fortunate to have had you as our leader, our visionary, and we thank you. Come on up, Coach. Please stay, because Dennis and I know Mr. Pruness can come up. Those are going to be better pictures.
Coach, right here.
They're all better looking.
Again, and I have to say this because it's never been truer than it is right now with Coach Oriama. Behind every great man, there's a great woman. And Mrs. Oriama, stand up and be recognized for all that you've done. Thank you. We have a couple of other things. I'm not going to read the entire proclamation, but we have a Senate and General Assembly proclamation from Senator Holzapfel and Assemblyman Wolf and McGuckin. It says, whereas under Robert Oriama's superb leadership, the Brick Township High School ice hockey team has won 6 state championships, 5 public school state championships, and 8 Gordon Cup championships. And whereas in addition, Robert Oriama's high ideals and dedication as an educator have promoted excellence in the classroom and shaped the development of countless students, and whereas any array of accolades bears witness to the many triumphs of Robert Oriama and attests to the high regard in which he is held, including the 2017 New Jersey Devils and Asbury Park Press Community Commitment Award, as well as in his induction into the Brick Township High School Wall of Fame in 2005 and the New Jersey Hockey Hall of Fame in 2010. Whereas Robert Oriama will be recognized in his illustrious career recalled during the Brick Township Public Board of Education meeting on September 14th, 2017. Now therefore be it resolved by the Senate and General Assembly of the State of New Jersey that this legislature hereby honors Robert Oriama, pays tribute to his meritorious service of leadership and commitment on behalf of the students of Brick Township, and extends sincere best wishes for a long and happy retirement. And be it further resolved that a duly authenticated copy of this resolution, signed by the Senate President and the Assembly Speaker, and attested by the Senate Secretary and Assembly Clerk, be transmitted to Robert Oriama. Congratulations, Coach. Pete, I have a plaque, and I'd ask Pete and Billy, Mr. Kleisler, to come up. But this plaque basically says, I know you got a lot of plaques already, Coach, but maybe you'll find a spot for this one. In appreciation for your dedication to the students and athletes at Brick Township High School, Robert Coach Oriema, we thank you for your faithful devotion, outstanding accomplishments, the Brick Township Board of Education, September 14th, 2017. Thank you, Coach.
Can I just ask for a show of hands, how many of you have played for Coach Oriema at some point in your lives? Okay, that's more than half the audience tonight. It's great to see you guys. On behalf of Brick Township High School, Mr. Panuska and myself, we want to just read a couple of sentences here about you, Coach, if you don't mind. Mr. Panuska and I had an arm wrestling contest to see who won. I obviously lost, so I'm going to do the reading here. For those of you who don't know, I am very proud to have had the opportunity to get to know Coach Oriema over the years as a colleague more than anything. His inspiration comes at moments when you don't expect to have inspiration. They come at moments when you get to watch. When he runs past my office, runs down the hall, I realize that I want to be him in many, many years. He has certainly lived his life to the fullest. So a couple words here. Coach Oriema is being recognized for his coaching career that has spanned over 58 years, all completed at Brick Township High School, as the icon of the Dragons ice hockey program. He's created a program from scratch within what was the sticks of Ocean County. Ice hockey didn't exist in this area before him. He also developed a youth program that is still in existence today and has achieved national championships and recognition throughout the country. That program welcomes players of all abilities. He's touched the lives of countless young men and women and the parents of those families. I realize that hockey is a family sport, not an individual sport. Often multi-generational, that includes as much family time traveling from place to place for events at all levels. There are thousands of former high school players, and I'm sure close to 10,000 people if you include the families that have been touched by Coach Oriema. This year, one of my proudest moments is when my son finally joined the ice hockey program, and I felt I could be a little part of what is a dynasty at Brick Township High School. Coach, you will never be replaced, but there are going to be many people that are going to do their best to put their right foot forward and carry on the tradition that you've done here at Brick Township High School. I know you won't be a stranger. We expect you to be around as often as possible, and I volunteer to pick you up if you need me to. Okay? Coach, something on behalf of Mr. Panuska, Brick Township High School, and myself. We hope you find some place for that.
For Coach Oriema, we have a new newspaper in town that covers Memorial Brick High School, Point Borough, the Ocean Star. And Larissa Forcease is the reporter that did Coach Oriema's bio and interviews. And when I told her what we were going to give Coach tonight, she was very, very excited. She was very pleased to do this for him. It's a credit to him and all the 58 years that he's given all of us at Brick Township High School, the spirit, the love, and the commitment to show our kids how to play the game of ice hockey. So thank you, Coach.
Go ahead, you gotta say something. Here, I got this. Billy, why don't you guys carry this there? I'm gonna bring it in.
I really accept these awards on behalf of all those people, both young ones, old ones, parents, fans, for all the work that's done behind the scenes as well as on the ice. It's no one person can put all the programs together, and we've had a tremendous amount of help from a number of people. The administration of the school, the town fathers, as well as all the parents and the fans over the years. And I accept it on their behalf for all those things they've done for hockey. And thank you. You're all too kind. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Congratulations, Coach. Thank you. Congratulations. Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you again, Coach. We have a second presentation tonight, and as many of you know, our students, certain students, came under some scrutiny this week, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But tonight's group of students is an example of the excellence that is exhibited 90% of the time by the students of this district. It is my extreme and esteemed honor to recognize tonight one of the organizations in this community that does so much to give back in an age of entitlement where people think that they're supposed to get things. This group of young people strive every day with their advisor, outstanding Mrs. Tarnowski. They strive every day to give back to the community. And they've done a marvelous job, and I just want to read what their recognition was, because it's really something. So, Mrs. Tarnowski, can you come up, please? Thank you. Okay. For the 2016-17 service year, the Brick Memorial High School Key Club brought home 2, not national, but international awards. The Brick Memorial High School Key Club was recognized at an international level at this year's Key Club convention held in San Antonio, Texas over the summer. The first recognition was a third-place Platinum Division for a single service project organized by a club of over 85 members. The award recognized the Gobble Gallop Walkathon Turkey Pie Night, which really was a fundraiser to help needy families around Thanksgiving time, to raise awareness for the fight against hunger. The New Jersey Federation of Food Banks, and specifically the Monmouth Ocean County Food Bank, received a donation from our Key Club at Brick Memorial for over $5,000. Along with this award, the Brick Memorial High School Key Club was also recognized as an internationally distinguished Diamond Club. This title is only given to clubs who achieve performance in the combined areas of club administration, membership, leadership, development, service, and fundraising. This award was only given to 50 clubs in the entire world. So we are very, very pleased and very, very proud of your efforts. And Mrs. Tarnowski, we are so proud of what you do with the students, and the fact that they're all here is a credit to...
They're not all here.
Well, many of them, there's not all 85, but a lot of them are here.
More than 85.
And,
We had 175 people at our first meeting yesterday.
wow, that's incredible. And these are kids that are giving back. So,
You can go in order.
no, the first one is for you.
Oh, fantastic. Let's go in order.
In recognition of your distinguished award for community service, we present you with this for the Brick Memorial High School Key
Thank you
Club.
very much.
Thank you. And now, we can't recognize all of you, but we want to recognize the leaders of your organization. So, in this order, the first recognition for Distinguished Award for Community Service is presented to Kaylee Martin.
Whole board, stay.
Chris Wozniak. Gianna Sanchez. Jared Erickson. J.C. Barber. And Brian Gerard. So. And David Yanowski. Congratulations. Thank you all very much. Continue to do the good work that you're doing. Follow Mrs. Tarnowski's lead, and you certainly give the town something to be very proud of. We appreciate it, and we congratulate you. Thanks, Anne Marie.
Before I get to the next phase of the meeting, or approval of minutes, or committees that are often drawn out and take a tremendous amount of time, I know when you come as parents, grandparents, students, sometimes our meetings can go long. So if there's anybody who came tonight to honor a coach or our amazing Key Club and you'd like to exit at this time, please do so. We thank you. We thank you all.
Thank you.
Hey, how are you? Good,
I'm
good.
going to ask him. You want to step back here? You want to see? You sure?
Good to see you, Coach.
Pete, good to see you.
Pete, take care.
Hey, we got probably an open seat up there.
Like, I'm out of here.
Oh, yeah, he didn't want to be part of this. He
Super.
hasn't changed a bit. Not a bit. Pardon me?
This?
Yeah. Oh, take that.
saying Mrs., I'll never get married.
Listen, I don't know what's wrong with the guys out there.
I'll talk her right out of that one.
No, you can keep it. I'm right. Yep.
I know, right?
Well, Larry Reed's the other one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, what that?
All right.
Do you have anyone?
Yeah, I was like, I promise I'll come back. My son's having something to deal with. So.
Thank you. Mary, everybody, I need a motion and a second for approval of minutes.
Motion.
Stephanie?
Second.
Daisy, second. Any discussion, any board discussion on the minutes of June 1, 2017, August 10 exec, and August 10 regular? Mary, I need a vote, please.
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Ms. Walrab?
I have to abstain.
I can't.
Abstain.
All of them? She abstains. Ms. Gagliardi?
Yes.
Ms. Hafner?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes. Committee reports. I'm going to start with facilities. Mr. Barton?
Thank you, President Lamella. The Facilities Committee has been working on a few projects that I'd like to report on. The first project, before I begin, I would like to personally thank Mr. Edwards and others involved in the committee. The Vets parking lot improvements is a project that I'm talking about. Vets parking lot project started with looking at the reason behind sinkholes occurring in the area. And there had to be decisions of whether we were going to just dig into the parking lot and take out sewer or storm drains, pipes that went on for hundreds of yards. The options were given to us. We looked at our options and we feel as if we went about it the right way, especially now that the project is at completion or very near completion. To begin with, we filled in joints inside of the storm drains rather than just go at it full bore and dig away. So that probably saved us a lot of headache in the long run. So without the thinking behind this and without the consistency to the committee, those kinds of decisions aren't made. And it's important to have everybody involved and staying on the same page with that. Parking lot looks great. It's been redesigned. Possibly lights are in. They were a little behind schedule on the ordering portion because there's a backlog of getting them in on time. But it looks great, and I hope that the children are much safer at both Vets Middle and Vets L. Brick High School East parking lot is complete. The track improvement at Brick High School is complete as it could be. They did not finish on time. The contractors have agreed to work on weekends to try to make up for the completion of the project. Right now, we're looking at having lanes painted to finish off what, again, is a much-needed project that it's been put off for a long time. Not necessarily put off for a long time, but it's been in need for a long time. Any of the phys ed teachers or the track coaches in middle and high school can tell you. It's the original track to this school, so it's as old as I am. Warren Wolf roof, Warren Wolf Elementary School's roof is to the point of a punch list, which is how you close out the work. And it's going to be nice to have that finished because the roof will not leak anymore when it's done. Windows project that we've been talking about for many years is we're getting complete with painting and closing in the tops and bottoms of the windows so that we don't have drafts. And that should be just about done. We're doing that work in-house. We are receiving in increments, a little bit at a time, our energy reports. Our energy audit was finished. It's a free energy audit, so we can't really rush the report coming in, but we're taking the time now to look at the reports and take into consideration what could be done to make improvements and to save money at the same time. Emergency lighting project is complete. The 2017-2018 capital budget projects have all been done. So we have Lake Riviera Middle School gym bleachers, Emma Havens Young Elementary School was a drop-down screen, the tech dry chemical system, Lake Riviera Middle School gym floor, Midstreams Elementary School gym floor. And when I say gym floor, I don't mean replacing, I just mean scuffing and polishing, repairing. Asphalt work, storm drain work, concrete work at Brick Memorial High School, Midstream School, the board office, Lake Riviera Middle School, and elementary, Emma Havens Young Elementary School. Moving down the meeting, we talked about lintels. And lintels are a structure that Lake Riviera has been found to maybe have a reason for us to look at the lintels. So our architect is now putting out the bid for contracting to open up walls so we can look in and look at the rafters, the metal rafters. That's what the lintels are. To make sure that water hasn't seeped in and rusted or corroded out the metal on that important part of Lake Riviera Middle School. We also talk about the Laurelton site. Laurelton School is just sitting property, not being used for anything. And we have a piece of property behind Laurelton School which is used for our maintenance storage. So we're seeing what we can do with that property. Brick Township High School auditorium roof air conditioners must be replaced at some point. So it's going to be put into a request at this time. We're hoping that we can look at that for our 18-19 school budget. Vets Middle School has an air conditioning for an auditorium that we've been talking about for a while. And while we didn't get to that project this year, Vets Memorial Elementary School's air conditioner went kaput. So we need to do something with both of those units. We're looking to replace the one that is, well, both of them are completely unusable. So we're going to have to see what we can do to get that up to our standard for the kids in those schools. Our capital lease is going to be extended. That's on our agenda this evening for your consideration so that we can finish paying for the HVAC system at Brick High School and the window projects, which haven't been paid out yet because we are not finished with certificate of occupancy. Coming up, and I'll find out more tomorrow night, I have a meeting in Trenton tomorrow. There is a direction coming in to the superintendent that's looking for carbon monoxide testing. Not testing, but carbon monoxide monitors. So that it's kind of like a fire alarm. So it's a CO2 alarm. Any of the buildings that have boilers in them, there's new legislation being made to protect the children for carbon monoxide poisoning, which is similar to maybe an incident that we had in South Jersey last year that sparked this project that we're going to be working on soon, I'm sure. And then we set our next meeting date for October 4th.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
You want to slide the kids in there?
Yeah, I'd like to stop at this time before we continue with the committees. I was derelict. We had 2 honorees tonight, 2 groups that we honored. And I was remiss because I missed with all the students here, the student representatives from Brick Memorial High School and Brick Township High School that report out. So, Mr. Filippone, if you'd introduce them, have them come up and give their report. And again, I apologize, it's my fault.
First, from Brick Memorial High School, Danielle Dyson and Aaron White.
Hi, I'm Danielle, and I'm the president over at Brick Memorial for SGA. And this is my friend Erin.
Hi, I'm Erin White, and I am the School Spirit Coordinator for the Brick Memorial SGA. We had a really good week, first week back at school. All of our classes ran really smoothly.
And then we had our first Code Green of the year, in which we implemented our new plan so that we're not all standing on the football field. We're at 4 different locations, so students would be safer in the event we needed to evacuate the school.
We had our first pep rally of the year on the first Friday of school, where all of our fall sports teams were introduced, and the band, the cheerleaders, and the dance teams all gave performances.
Back in August, we had a successful freshman orientation with over 100 volunteers to welcome the class of 2021 and simulate their first day of school and have them meet all their teachers for the first time.
School-wide, we are looking to unite all of our clubs. The SGA has united with the Key Club and the National Honor Society to promote school unity.
And then a couple of events that are coming up for us are on September 23rd at 10 a.m. over at Point Pleasant Beach. There's an Alzheimer's walk, which we made a school-wide priority, in which we are walking for our old ROTC director, Sergeant Tierney, who passed away due to Alzheimer's.
Our homecoming dance is coming up. It is Thursday, October 12th, and we have a Hollywood theme, and we're sure that it will be a great time.
And then on October 20th, Midstreams is having their annual Fall Fest, in which we're volunteering, and it should be a lot of fun helping the little kids pick out their pumpkins and do fall crafts.
Both of our soccer teams won their first games, and our other fall sports are off to a rousing start.
And then on September 26th, we're going to have our back to school night, in which all of the parents can finally meet their students' or their kids' teachers.
And at the next board meeting, we will not be in attendance due to our homecoming dance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
From Brick Township High School, Christian Brando.
Hi, my name is Christian Brett. I'm the Vice President of Affairs for the Brick Township National Honor Society. So starting off, August 23rd, we had our freshman orientation, and that went over extremely well. We had a great amount of attendance and help from SGA and National Honor Society, and the freshmen brought around the school and got a good look at everything. And also, our seniors were happy to know that the east lot was redone, and they are extremely thankful for that, as it looks extremely nice and everything is much smoother and easier to handle. And we were also very excited for our new track that is coming in, because, as they said before, we did need one, but it's going to look great, so we're all excited, and the track team is really excited for that. So our Key Club is helping out with the EEK Fest that is coming up in October, and that is a fundraiser for kids with cystic fibrosis, and it is going to be held at the VFW on Adamson Road. And in addition, BTHS as a whole is looking to adopt a school in Texas. We're looking at Corpus Christi, a school in there, so we can give back after how they helped us with Sandy. So we just want to give back to how they helped and make sure that we're involved with everything. In October, both cheer squads from both schools will be combining for the Cancer Walk in Point Pleasant. That is kind of to smooth things out so our relations are better. And adding on to that, last night at our boys soccer game, both teams took a picture together to show unity and that there is sportsmanship between both schools. And all of our fall sports are off to a great start. Football is 1-0. Field hockey is already at 3 wins, and tennis is at 2 wins. And our girls soccer took the win last night, and we were proud to say that against Brick. We were undefeated this week. So we're looking forward to a great year, and our back to school night is September 27th. So we look to see you next month and have some more news. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. Thank you.
All right, thank you again, and guys, I do apologize. Great job. All right, I'm going to pick up where we left off. HR?
The
Human Relations Department was very busy this summer, filling all of our openings and hiring the most qualified people for our positions. In addition, Mr. Cranston outlined for the committee a written hiring process for certified staff members and for athletic department job postings. And I'm glad to see that Mr. Cranston is making the department his own, and he's streamlining some of the procedures and making a good thing even better. So I appreciate that, Mr. Cranston.
Thank you. You want to keep moving, Victoria? We can do curriculum and instruction?
Yes, curriculum, we had an amazing curriculum meeting in August. There were 14 members there, including our administrators, supervisors, principals, directors, did I say directors, supervisors, and principals? And we were assured as a committee that our curriculum collaborations and all the professional development focused on the most important things for curriculum this summer, including aligning our curriculum to the most current New Jersey school student learning standards, and creating pacing guides for our teachers, lists of core instructional materials, including various levels of resources at each grade level, have been improved. There's something we call in education a teacher's toolbox, and I really walked away from that meeting confident that the teachers, our gen ed teachers, as well as our special education teachers, have many more resources this year in their toolkits, their toolboxes, to really reach out and help individualize instruction and reach our students. We also did reviewed benchmark assessments and looked at the universal design learning modifications for special education students, English language learners, and students at risk of school failure, and gifted students. I really just want to thank the supervisors that are here tonight and who were at that meeting on August 30th, because you took so many questions from myself and Ms. Gagliardi, and more myself than Ms. Gagliardi, and you made everything very clear so that I could come back to the board and be very confident in the work that's been done this summer, and knowing that it is really not just in the best interest of our school students, but moving our district forward towards our district improvement plan. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Victoria. I've spoken to Stephanie about finance, and Jim, would you please report out on finance?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Lamella. Finance Committee met on September 6th. Ms. Walreb, Mrs. Pacala, Mr. Filippone, and myself. First thing we discussed was the 17-18 budget, and most importantly, our application for the appeal of the loss of state aid. Mr. Filippone and myself have met with the county superintendent and the county business administrator. We're told that there's going to be a recommendation made by the middle of this month to the Commissioner of Education, and that we will be informed when that recommendation is made. We also discussed the auditor RFP that we received, and there's a recommendation on this evening's agenda for that. We talked about the incurred but not reported for workman's compensation as of June 30th, 2017, and how funds were generated in that line for the workman's compensation program that is running very successfully at this time. We talked about the medical and prescription IBNR for June 30th, 2017, and how funds are needed in that line. The self-insured program is running better than was expected, but not as good as what was budgeted for. We talked about the Lake River Middle School skate rink that we're going to be discussing with the township in regards to what to do with that skate rink. It's in poor condition, either needs to be rehabbed or removed. Our insurance carrier has concerns over its exposure that it provides to the district. We talked about the Bank of America capital lease, which is on the agenda tonight for extension that Mr. Barton has already spoken about. And we talked about the solar panel generation reporting at Brick Memorial High School and the SRECs for 2017-18. That's everything.
Thanks, Jim. All right, Melita and I reviewed the first reading of the policies that were out in the second reading. We've made Mr. Filippone aware of one or two things in the first reading, and you'll see the second readings are on the agenda for your review. Thank you. Ms. McNamara, will you please introduce curriculum?
You forgot me.
Oh, I forgot. Oh, Jesus. Then.
It's okay, John. Mr. Lamella.
I'm sorry, the superintendent's report. I apologize.
I'll be brief.
I won't blame it on my content.
I would like to congratulate our staff and students on a good opening of the school year. There were some bumps in the road, but we weathered that storm. Today, we had what I hope is a once-in-a-decade issue in 2 grammar schools on electrical fire at Emma Havens, knocked out the power at both Emma and Drum Point at 9 a.m. this morning. Due to the hard work of our administrators, teachers, bus drivers, maintenance workers, police, EMTs, and the cooperation of our parents and caregivers, we were able to dismiss Emma Havens students at 11:30 and house 450 Drum Point students at Brick Township High School until their dismissal. I am happy to say that both schools will be open at their normal times tomorrow. Finally, this week has been spent trying to explain the actions of our students at Saturday's Brick Memorial football game. Our district and our community are disappointed at what occurred. Students have been disciplined, and our image as a community has been tarnished. I was once told that from failure and disappointment come progress. We are one community, one school district, and we have already begun through the efforts of our 2 high school principals to close the gap that exists between our 2 schools. We will not allow flags or clothing with inappropriate sayings at any future athletic events. We have established a leadership council of students from both high schools who will meet together to discuss ways to compete with and support each other in a positive way. Our coaches and teachers will work every day to instill character into our students in the hope that someday students from both schools will be able to have the courage to step in and stop incidents like Saturdays rather than cheer as they occur. I know that we have great kids in this school district at both high schools. And I know that they will come out of this as better people. We cannot fall into the trap of saying kids are kids. It is our job and our duty to do better than that, and I pledge that we will. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Filippone. All right, committee reports. I need a motion and a second for curriculum and instruction.
Motion.
Stephanie's the first.
Second.
Daisy's the second. Mary, I'm sorry. Discussion on curriculum and instruction. Seeing none, any public comment on...
Oh, I'm sorry. I just had one thing on the curriculum instruction.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Victoria.
I did notice that in our curriculum that I didn't mention before, that we have new curriculum for some subjects in school that will really help our students who excel more and really reach some new artistic talent as far as the dance program and the American Sign Language. And I'm looking forward to the challenges that our students are going to face with the AP Language and Composition and AP Lit and Composition and Honors Marine Biology classes that were added this year. Or the marine biology was added. And the others were revised. Anyway, that's all. That's up for approval for tonight.
Thank you. Seeing no more, any public comment on curriculum and instruction?
My name is Nan Call. I live at 18 Greenbrier Boulevard. My comment is not on curriculum and instructions, But I wonder, are you allowing public comment on Mr. Philippone's comments? That is the
Mrs. Col-
biggest thing that brought me here tonight,
That would be appropriate at the end of the meeting.
at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Seeing no more on curriculum, Mary?
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
Ms. Gagliardi?
Yes.
Ms. Hafner?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes. You're on operations. The active...
The acting superintendent recommends that the board approve the following items, 1 through, oh, please. Sorry, guys.
No, it's okay. We're all good.
31.
1 through 31.
All right. I need a motion.
Motion.
Stephanie's the first.
Second.
Melita's the second. Any board discussion on operations? Seeing none, any public comment on operations? Please come up, sir.
Larry Reed, 475 Normandy Drive. Just kind of questions about the workers' comp, just so I'm clear that I understand it and anybody else that follows it can. You know, last year for 16-17 school year, we had a budget of $1,939,415, so $1.9 million. That budget was revised downward as of the end of June 2017 to $880,576,000. And there was still $2,700 in reserve. Now, with this new budget for 2017-18, the budget for workers' comp is back up to $1,998,015. So that's gone from $800,000 to $2 million. The amounts that are expenditures that are already booked for July, last year it was $9,000, this year it's $73,000. The encumbrances last year were $355,000, and this year they're $291,000. So how did we go from a budget of $880,000 to a budget of $2 million?
Through the chair, Jim, please.
Mr. Reed, if you submit that question to me, I'll be happy to explain it to you. I think it's too in-depth and detailed of an answer to give at this time.
Okay.
Okay, in line with that.
Excuse me, hold on, Stephanie had an interjection.
Through the chair, Jim, could
Go
you
ahead.
please set up a meeting with us and him to sit down and talk about this, because it is in-depth, and I would just like to be there, and I'd like to sit down with him and go through it. He had some questions. We've been trying to catch up. My schedule hasn't allowed it. That would be really helpful.
So, Mr. Reed, if you have my email address still, I'm sure, so if you could email me some dates and times that you'd be available, and Mrs. Walbrad, myself, and Ms. Bacala will sit down with you. Maybe Mr. Philippone will want to join us.
Okay, that'd be great, thank you.
Yeah, we've been trying to, and we just haven't been able to. So.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One other question on the operations now.
Please.
On the legal services, you know, there's just one account number for legal services, and it shows a budgeted amount for this coming year of $383,000. I know there's a regular attorney, board attorney, then there's a labor attorney and a special ed attorney. Is there any way to find out a breakdown of those three categories of legal fees?
Yes, that'll be something that, when you plan the meeting, they'll have that broken out for you at that meeting. But yes,
Okay,
it
great.
should be able to be pulled out.
Thank you very much.
Jim, am I correct? I'm not misspeaking, knowing gap codes, it should be able to be done?
Yes.
Yeah, it's contained within the budget detail.
It just needs time.
Yep. Thank you. Seeing no one else, Mary?
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
Ms. Gagliardi?
Yes.
Ms. Hefner?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes. All right, I'm not to the next one yet.
Human Resources.
Human Resources.
Okay. The acting superintendent recommends that the board approve the following numbers 1 through 43 and 45 through 47.
I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Stephanie is the first.
Second.
Victoria is the
Victoria.
second. Any board discussion on human resources? Seeing none, any public comment on human resources? Mary, roll call, please.
Mr. Barton?
Abstain on number 9 and yes to everything else.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
Ms. Gagliardi?
Yes.
Ms. Hefner?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes. You're at the end.
Okay.
All right.
The acting superintendent recommends that the board approve the following policies
For first read.
on first reading.
I need a motion and a second.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
Who was second? I apologize.
That was me. Sorry, my
Daisy.
voice went. I apologize.
Stephanie's the first, Daisy's the second. Is there any comment on the wellness and meals credit? I'm seeing none. Any public comment? We've had no board. Mary? Roll call?
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Bacala?
Yes.
Ms. Walrath?
Yes.
Ms. Gagliardi?
Yes.
Ms. Hefner?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes. At this time, I'd like to invite up anyone from the public for comment. Ma'am?
This would be, yeah.
Yes.
Nan Colley, Team Greenbrier Boulevard. And it's a sad state of affairs when the situation that happened, which I don't feel that I know all of the details. There was one site where I get most of my news, had a video, and when I clicked it, it said it had been deleted. I was shocked to find out yesterday that one of the older people in my community had seen the video on News 12, which is on 62 in this town. If he could see it there, I don't know to what avail it was that it was deleted. If these school kids, many of whom do bring their phones, do videotape these things and post it in various places, but it can't be deleted, why I couldn't have seen what the video depicted. And I like to make any judgment until I have all of the facts. And generally, all of the facts are not noticed until it goes to some kind of adjudication. That isn't going to happen for a while. However, just to read that the town, that it was people in 2 different schools within the town, but this is the state that our country, at least the contiguous states, are currently experiencing, and it's deplorable. You, the school, really can't do much, just as the bullying issue that you're still talking about. Has anybody ever calculated exactly how many hours these young people, I don't want to call all of them children, some of them are older than what most of us think of as children, how many hours they spend in your jurisdiction where you're responsible for them? I cannot imagine in the course of a year that it is anything but a slim minority of the hours. Their parents, and it's been said over and over by many, many noted people on the pundit shows, it's the parents that have to control this. You alone can do nothing. And if the parents aren't enforcing it, so number one, when incidents like this happens, I think you need to call in the parents of all of those children. I heard something about 10 of the students having some type of reprimand. I hope to God that you look to have both parents attend at the same time, because without their help, you're not going to do it. However, I have stated a long time ago, most of you don't know me, but I used to come to these meetings regularly and frequently had something to say. And I had said when I first came here that you need to decide, and I'm paraphrasing my words, you better decide, do you want to be in education or do you want to be in sports? And I told the story without naming the schools, but now I'm going to name my oldest son, who happened to be an all-around. He was a genius, and he was an athlete. And I can say that not because I'm proud of it, although possibly, according to my sister-in-law, the X factor is where the intelligence is, and my husband didn't provide him with any X factors. Of that, I'm certain. So I take credit, but no, God has the credit. It was something that he was endowed with. And within the past couple of weeks, I happened to read online, which is the only way I get my news, that his high school was it was in at least the 10, might have been within the 3, although the college was, of the best private schools in New York. It didn't tell you that it is an all, forget the word now, tuition-free, taught by Jesuits, Regis High School in Manhattan. It is extremely competitive to get in. Only 5 boys from his Catholic grade school were allowed to take the test. He and a friend were 2 that were accepted. After they went, for 5 years, not one person from that school was accepted, because it's only about a 600 population enrollment, taking 200 a year. It's very competitive. They do not have any kind of state tests. They are finished all of their academics by February of their senior year, generally go do internships. And from there, yes, he didn't know whether he was going to accept the scholarship, and that's the word I lost before, to go there. And I said, excuse me? Because the only sport they played was basketball. And of course, he wanted to do other things. So then he went from there to the University of Chicago, which was the second of the 2 articles, third, after Harvard and, well, after Princeton and Harvard, third. And he had some scholarships. It's known, you write your ticket to go there. And he played football. Well, it was 33 years that school never had won a game, and it didn't win it till several years after he was out of there. I don't know if they won more than the one I read about at the time. I think it is time for you to concentrate on the education and let the athletics be done by a separate organization, where it is a nonprofit organization funded by people who are philanthropists or parents or whatever, but not my tax money. And I guarantee you, and Daniel Patrick Moynihan, whom I never knew personally, and I was a little bit too young to really fully appreciate him. But he said the dumbing down of the students in this, or the people. We've lost a sense of family. There is no cohesive family units these days, and it is time that we concentrate on providing them with what's really, and what we're guaranteed to provide them. We are supposed to give them a free education here, and too many people are not getting the free education. They're paying twice, like the students of St. Dominic's who get phenomenal awards and win prizes for their scholastics and STEM achievements. So I think that it's time to cut the athletics out of it before you wind up like Ferguson and Baltimore, where people rise up and riot and the mob mentality takes over, as it is happening every day. And since he went to the University of Chicago, I was very keenly aware of the situation in Chicago. It was a long time ago. And I was keenly aware, and I am still aware, and I see that Rahm Emanuel has done nothing to quell that state. It's going to, when I say state, I mean the state of that particular city. It's going to get worse here. We've had the bullying, it hasn't stopped. We have the opioid problem, which has existed for more years than anybody realizes, just that now they are getting it, as people said, from their grandparents or whatever, getting heavy-duty drugs, and they find them in the cabinets. So I think it's time to start to move that part out of my having to pay for it and then having to pay for all the damages that come about by them rising up and thinking they have more rights than they do. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please, Mr. Reed.
I don't need to give my name and address again, do I?
No, you're good.
Okay. Just to follow up, my comment is that I think extracurricular activities, including sports, are an essential part of the education experience. I think it gives the student a chance to learn chain of command, authority, teamwork, sportsmanship. All those things are not taught in the classroom. So, in my opinion, it's an essential part of the education process. Just as you have a teacher who sets rules and guidelines for their classroom attendance, you have coaches and mentors in whatever activity who try and promote goals and achievements. And I think that's one of the problems, where you don't have students that are involved in after-school activities that have too much free time to get involved in social networking and other social activities that are peer pressure oriented rather than goal oriented. That's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr. Reed.
Mr. Reed. Please.
Nick Cusinelli, 113 Duchess Lane. My wife received a letter in the mail yesterday, and I'm here to ask a couple questions about it. It's has to do with the legal fees for the, she was looking for indemnification for being a witness for Dr. Uzinski's case. And the letter came from Mr. Montenegro. Thank you for getting us an answer. That's good. That's a first good thing, right? But in the letter, it says a committee of board assigned to analyze the matter has recommended that the board await the outcome of the pending criminal matters before placing the request for indemnification before the board for a vote. And the question would be, what bearing does the outcome of the pending criminal matter have to do with whether or not a board member gets reimbursed for the legal fees in this case?
I can answer that. Is the board, the committee, and ultimately the board wants to see and know more about what the actual case is and how it turns out. Not so much the outcome of the result as it relates to those charged, but the facts and everything associated with it. Because that case is pending, all of the discovery related to it is in the hands of the Ocean County Prosecutor's Office, beyond the core issues of what basically everybody knows through the newspapers. The district doesn't have those records, doesn't have that information. Obviously, there's been no trial, so the specifics of what happened and what people will testify to, we won't know unless and until that happens.
Right.
So the board wants to have a full accounting of what's going on, what the entire facts are, before making a decision on the request for indemnification. That would include the expenditure of public funds.
Right. I understand that, but my wife, as a former board member, is not, under charges. It was a witness situation, not that she is part of a criminal activity. So that's why indemnification. That's why I don't understand.
Well, and nobody's suggesting that or taking sides, so to speak.
Right.
But without seeing any of it or actually watching any of it play out, I take you at your word for what you're telling me regarding your wife as a former board member, but we don't have any of those documents that make up the discovery in the criminal case. We don't know what the testimony would be at trial unless and until it happens. So the board just doesn't want to put the cart before the horse until they have all of that information before making a discretionary decision on a request for payment of funds.
But in the letter here, it says that the committee decided not to talk to the rest of the board about it, though.
They decided not to recommend placing it on for a vote at this time. If it goes on the agenda for a vote, it's either yes, pay it, or no, don't pay it. And in fairness to the people who are petitioning for that, we don't think it's fair to make that decision now without those facts, because that decision might be in the negative based on the facts as we know them now, which is not all of the facts. And we think in fairness to the people that are petitioning for it, as well as the board that's being asked to expend those funds, that they should know the entirety of the situation before they make that decision.
Well, I'll just reiterate, people go up here, and all of you, a lot of you up there have done it, that you volunteer your time, and it's really a negative situation to why would I volunteer my time to be, financially responsible for something that really I have, that person has nothing to, I'm responsible too. I mean, it's what's mine is hers, and what's hers is hers. Is that how it goes? Yeah,
No, my wife says what's mine is mine and what's yours is mine.
Yeah, so, just whatever, just like to continue to keep a conversation on moving forward with this, please. The second question that I'm working as her representation right now because she's at another meeting. So I have little notes here. So at last meeting, Mr. Lamella, you had said that you would look into what conflict the board has as a result of the fact that you, Mr. Lamella, is the vice principal in the chain of command over Mr. Barton and Ms. Gagliardi. Did you file for an advisory opinion from the School Ethics Commission?
Actually, after that meeting, I took a look into that as well. There really wasn't a need to file for an advisory opinion because there already was an advisory opinion on the issue, which indicated that there is no conflict based on that type of situation, although all parties involved need to be careful in their interactions so that there couldn't be or wouldn't be going forward.
But can I stop by you and just so I can get the advisory opinion?
Sure.
Document,
As a matter of fact, I have your wife's email from when I sent the letter.
Okay.
I'll email a copy.
Great, that'd be great, so that I...
Sure.
All right. And also, the last question was Dr. Uzinski riced for this meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
It was? Okay. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, sir, please.
And Mike.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Tony Zurica, 447 Aurora Drive. I don't think there's any way we can separate sports from education at the high school level, at any institute, whether it's grammar school, high school, college. They go hand in hand, and the vast majority of the student athletes are wonderful people, so I don't think we can separate it. We have to find other ways to fix things. It was nice before when Mr. Oriema was here and a lot of people came and you know, showed their support and gratitude for all the things that he's done. But we need to find a way to get more parents here and grandparents at these meetings. That's what we need, because the parents are responsible for what happens with the children, regardless of what happens. And I don't have any idea what happened, but, you know, at the football game, I really have no idea. But it goes back to the parents, and what I see, unfortunately, I have a 19-year-old, he's going to be 19 next month, nephew, and, you know, total honesty, he doesn't respect his parents, and his parents don't respect him. And I'm sure that he's not the only one in the town that's living a life like that. Parents are busy working. Most parents, like I mentioned at a prior meeting, both parents are working, and I understand that. And I'm just as guilty. I live here 27 years. I never came to a meeting until 5 or 6 months ago to talk about the special education program. So, if anybody wants to come up here and kick me in the rear end and say that, you know, I have no right to be up here speaking, that's fine. But we need to get more parents involved, and we need the parents to understand that they need to support the children, they need to support the board, and understand the hurdles that we have to make this program better for everybody. There's a lot, we're trying to fight to get the money back from the budget cuts. That's a small percentage of what we need to improve the overall education program in this town. I hope we get that money back, but the next step, and I'm sure you guys are working on it, is to figure out how we can get more money from people, because we need more money. We brought in some great people, and I'm happy to say that you know, people are returning phone calls and returning emails, and I can't express how much I appreciate that. But again, it goes, we need to get the parents, figure out a way to get the parents here to support the children and to support the board. As far as the opioid issue goes, I was around for the wave of heroin abuse in the 60s and 70s. I lived in Brooklyn, New York. I lost 4 of my friends, unfortunately, to heroin addiction, and 2 got killed on the Belt Parkway in a car crash when they were stoned out of their minds and didn't know what they were doing, and 2 others died with needles in their arms. And I don't want to forget, unfortunately, I had 2 cousins and a nephew who also died from heroin addiction. So it's a terrible issue. It needs to be addressed. I think we're taking steps to address that. But again, it's the parents who are responsible. If you drive around the town, if there's not an organized event, an organized sporting event, the parks are empty. And when I grew up, we had 5, 6, 7 teams waiting on the sideline. And by teams, I mean, I lived on 5th Street in Brooklyn. There was the 5th Street guys hanging out, waiting to play, the 6th Street guys, the 7th Street guys, the 8th Street guys. We all played against each other. We had pickup games. We don't see that anymore. The kids are tied to their computers. They're tied to their phones. They don't communicate until they get in a situation where, you know, maybe, and I don't know, maybe they had a drink or 2, or maybe it's just frustration or anger, and fights break out. We had fights when we were kids too. I'm not going to say we didn't. But the only way, or not the only way, but the major step that we need to take is to get the parents more involved, and to get the parents to respect the children, and then the children will respect the parents. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Zarica.
Mike?
Mike Conti from Brick Chamber of Commerce. I just wanted to make mention of our Dream Dollars raffle. Last year, we were able to give out $30,000 worth of scholarships. That's ongoing right now. Mr. Hersenko has some tickets if you need them. I have some tickets if you need them. Dan may have a ticket or two if you need them. If he hasn't sold them already, I don't know if we gave them to him. But those are available. They're $100 a piece, and basically all the proceeds go towards awarding scholarships, with which we were able to do $30,000 last year. So it's a raffle. So it's 250 tickets. $25,000 as a total, so somebody walks away with $12,500, and then we get to give that $12,500 plus additional to students in Brick Township that are either continuing their education in college or are already in college, post-secondary school, and want to continue that further and need a little bit of help. So it's always a nice event. That is October 13th at Jumping Brook Country Club. Tickets are available if you want to call for that event, so I'm inviting all of you guys here tonight. That event is it's a Halloween party. I will be in costume. There'll be a bunch of people in costume as well. But yeah, I'll be in costume, and so will some others. But if you can attend, that would be fantastic. I'm going to switch real quick just to put on another hat, the Mike Conti hat. That's Tall Oaks Drive in Brick. So this is the chamber stuff, now personal stuff. I just wanted to make mention that you guys do all staff getting the year together and starting that off. The work that's done here, I know what you guys have to go through, especially with an event that happened on Saturday, and the phone calls and emails and everything else to sort all that stuff out is extremely difficult. But we have some great people that are working in this district. They do a phenomenal job. I know my son started 3rd grade. My daughter's going to start kindergarten next year with her big brother, and it's awesome to see somebody like Coach Oriyama that's honored after so many years of coaching hockey here. It's awesome to see one of my high school history teachers, Ms. Tarnowski, honored for her service here with the Brick Township Key Club, Brick Memorial Key Club, which has been just a massive, massive organization over there for so many years. So many people are doing such good work. Just a suggestion to get more people out. When you talk about the kids, guess what? People come out. All right, so tonight I timed it. The stuff that we talked about kids for, aside from the presentations, was about 5.5 minutes. Sometimes you guys know these meetings can drag on 3 hours. We talk about minutia operations. We talk about minutia human resources. We talk about minutia of this, that, and the other thing. But at the end of the day, what's going to bring people out here, and what I was a proponent when I was sitting back there of, was get the kids here. Do a school of the month. Do something that honors kids every single time. If you can do that and you can make that the focus of your meetings, I think they'll be much better off. And I watch, even though I'm not here every month, I'm a sadist, so I wind up watching them online. So I do see what's going on, and thank you guys for a very smooth opening. Thank you to the principal, who I remember. He might not remember me, but I remember him running around the gym when his dad was my basketball coach back in the day. And the principal over at Drum Point Elementary for taking care of all that stuff today and making it as smooth as possible. So there's a lot of good stuff going on. A lot of good stuff. So thank you.
Thank you, Mike. All right, board comment. John Barton, would you like to go first?
I'd like to personally thank the Myers family, including Carissa. When you see Memorial, I don't personally know the family, but when you see something like Memorial and then you look at the flag that they donated and presented to the school system, it's an American thing to do, and I just would like to make sure that we recognize them and thank them and our hearts with them as a family member of the Brick Schools also. And I just have one more quick thing, is that the Ocean County School Boards is having a meeting in October. There's time to register. The theme of the meeting is legal issues. So you can hear some of the ongoing or current legal issues on cutting-edge topics and be informed. So if you haven't registered and you have a night, it's dinner and lawyers and school administrators. It's a nice evening, so you might want to look that up. If you need help, contact me.
Thanks, Sean. Victoria?
I was going to say the same thing about the Myers family and the flag. I looked it up online and I just thought it was the coolest thing, and it just made me feel proud to see that, you know, a family thought so much of our district to donate that. And I hope the kids, you know, salute it regularly. That's all. Thank you for all the committee meetings and everything this summer. I know it wasn't easy for Ms. McNamara or Mr. Edwards or Mr. Cranston and so on and so forth. So I really felt like it was a great preparation, and no wonder the opening went so smoothly. So thank you.
Thank you, Victoria. Melita?
I just would like to take this opportunity to thank the administration, Ms. McNamara, Mr. Filippone, Mr. Edwards, for your leadership here, and that overflows into our school-based leadership and our teachers and staff. Thank you for all your hard work and dedication. At that curriculum and instruction committee meeting that we had this summer, there was representation from every school level, from the elementary, middle, and high school. They talked about the rigor, the challenging, and everything that they're doing to prepare our students. And it was amazing to see their hard work and their dedication, and the teachers that are on that team with them working hard, and then bringing that over to the rest of the staff at the school. So thank you so much for all your hard work. Appreciate that. But to also take this opportunity, the incident today at Emma Havens and Drum Point, it went very smooth, having 2 children at the school. I want to thank Mr. Cajun for your hard work, all the staff members there. I'm feeling, you know, I like to stay positive and look at all the good. We can focus on the negative and hopefully take any situation that's happened here and look at it and see what can we do to improve, what can we do to make things better. And I know Mr. Filippone, he outlined some of those things that we're doing, and I thank you for that.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you, Melita. Daisy?
All right, I just wanted to welcome all of our new hires and say a thank you and best wishes to all of our retirees. My children were invited to be a part of a surprise for the Midstream's faculty on the Friday before school started. Dr. Billen, the principal over at Midstream's, secretly organized over 80 alumni students to come in and surprise their former teachers. The students rushed into their APR room to give the teachers and staff letters that they wrote themselves that described how they inspired them. The students and staff then had some time to catch up and go around and meet and talk with everybody. I have to be honest and tell you I was there because obviously my kids can't drive and couldn't drive themselves to this wonderful event, and there were some administrators present as well, and I think they could see how wonderful an event this really was. I'll never forget how exciting it was and the joy that was in the room at that time, and I hope everybody did appreciate all of that. But I hope everybody knows, not just at Midstreams, that all of our faculty here, how much they really do inspire and influence and impact every child every single day. So I hope everyone has a fantastic school year this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Daisy. All right, in closing, I will jump on my mini soapbox since the topic of athletics came up. I haven't been a guidance counselor for a long time, but many years ago, as a counselor, there were some statistics out there, and I'm sure you'll all jump on your computers and fact-check me and tell me I'm wrong later. So I guess I'll talk from common sense as a parent in today's society. It was said at that time that students who have a part-time job or are involved after school, their GPA is 0.3 of a point higher. Most teenage pregnancies and issues that kids got into happen between 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. At the same time, we offer co-curriculars in sports. I don't know where I'd be right now if it wasn't for 2 coaches. We make a difference every day. To separate that makes no sense at all. It is an extension of the school day. Teams are a fraternity. Teams are our sorority. Coaches are people you come back and thank. Dennis mentioned a number tonight about Coach Auriemma. 10,000 people whose lives he's touched. The prep school thing, awesome. My son went to one, and he played 3 sports and had all those offers. And I'd like to think he got there because of his mother and father. Yes, it's parents, sir. That's what it is. Us taking sports out of this school are co-curriculars, where we have young men and women who serve as mentors and role models for these kids, doesn't work for me. And if that's what this community wants, I will stand against it at all costs. I thank you for the people that got up and spoke to it. In terms of the texting and bullying and what you saw this weekend, the programs this district has put in place, past board, present board, every administrator here and every teacher, they're in the hallways, they make a difference. So is there still bullying? You're never going to get rid of it. There's still opioid abuse, you're never going to get rid of it. But the time they put in these schools is thousands of hours a year that they never had to put in the past to help raise these children, raise them. My teachers didn't have to raise them, my parents did. And now we serve as that role too. And when we don't, we're damned. When we do a great job, most of the time it's not recognized. So, now we're going to move forward with programs you're putting in place to help change what happened this Saturday. That's bringing this community together. This community is a family, but it's incumbent upon the parents to do their jobs. We're doing all we can. Every administrator in this room and every teacher in this district is. Every youth coach is. So I thank you all for that. Soapbox is over. I can use the word thank you for a wonderful opening, and it's 2 small words that don't carry much. We talk about teachers after school, Melita, and you'll talk about how much they don't get paid or do get paid, but they're there because they care, and I thank them for that. I thank the administration that supports them. God, I forgot where I was going. I want to thank a few members of the public that I've been able to reach out to recently to help me, beyond the board, learn in terms of budgeting and finance and maybe learn some things. Mr. Reed, I hope you do take Stephanie up on her offer and sit with her. To everyone else who came out tonight, I thank you. We do have a committee formed. We are looking at our meeting protocol and format with our policy, bylaws, and working with school boards. To everyone, thank you for coming out. I hope you have a great night. I want to go over the calendar very quickly. September 21st, the school is closed for Rosh Hashanah. October 9th, Columbus Day, school is closed for students. You have in-service?
Professional day.
Teacher in-service. October 9th is staff professional development, 8 a.m. However, what I don't see here is the next board meeting. Mary, do you have the date and location? I normally announce that.
October 12th here.
October 12th, here at 7 p.m. I need a motion and a second to adjourn. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
I make that motion.
Victoria is the
Second.
first, Melita's the second. Mary?
Mr. Barton?
Yes.
Ms. Cullen?
Yes.
Ms. Mulrad? Ms. Scagliardi?
Yes.
Ms. Hafner?
Yes.
Mr. Lamella?
Yes.
Timing, I just finished my last.
You know how to do that? You learned to say I don't